Well, I pushed as far as I can go. That lower side's so wet. It's hitting that mud. I got on this lower side, I about moored up about 3 or 4 times. Then I hit a piece of limestone. See, I got stuck there. It's just so wet right here. I think it's because it's topsoil. But I got stuck right there, and then I started pushing over there. So I don't know. Because I mean, this is, if I get my 14,000 pound machine over here, it's really mushy. So I'd like to get the excavator over here to rake it back, but I think it's because it's staying wet. If it could dry up a little bit, we could do something with it, clean it up. So I think I'm gonna come in at a sharp angle, because here's the marsh. I'm supposed to dam up this right here, and my problem is, because I may take and clean this off right here and rake everything back, but over there I'm gonna clean that whole embankment on the side. So I'm gonna take that tree and then all that, rake it back, kind of clean it up. There's like a tabletop, but it falls off. There's a little drop off behind it. So I was thinking it was like a nice smooth embankment, but it drops off over there and then it hills back up. So another day of dozing or something like that could do good to help it out. So I'm gonna clean some of this up. I'm afraid to get my mulcher over here, but I'm gonna definitely have to take some of that dirt, throw it over there and dam it up. But I'm gonna see what we can't do. All right, so I'm trying to dam up the pond. It's getting real mushy because I've came in twice already, so it's starting to mar up. So I was trying to get some of this. This is fill dirt. This is really good stuff they use for the embankment. But you can see I had to take some of the hillside out, which helped me out. And then that way I can have material to push out. That way I can dig. Because I have to dig up on this side and then use whatever's on the bottom of the, hopefully it's dirt. It's actual dirt, not topsoil. So I'm gonna go ahead and rake some of this corner out and rake it out. And he's got plenty of material on the other side he can use for an embankment. So I'm trying to dig this out to push material out. That way I can use for a good bottom base. So we'll go ahead and dig some of this up, and we'll see how it does. block right there. I may try to get on my other side because I got to clean that embankment over there a little bit best I can. I don't think it wants me to dig on that other side. Build it where it'll hold up. All right, so I got this dammed up a little bit. Every time I tried to stack it, it just kept falling down. So it said it's supposed to be like 65. You can tell it's about 60 something, but it's not warm enough. But I packed it up here so that way, if, you know, by the time it settles, it may settle into these little holes here. So I'm guessing whoever built this didn't think about, you know, cleanness and taking care of it, because that's like this and it drops off, but no, that's got like shoots down that. I'm not sure if it's because of the slopes or they didn't worry about nothing else. Not really sure. But I piled it up, tried to pack it down in there, and just braced it with that because it kept wanting to slide out. So I just kind of threw that back there to kind of help hold it so it has. So this right here could use a mulcher with the excavator, but also could use a good reslope right here. But you got all kinds of stuff in there. Not really sure what's in there, but we're gonna go ahead. I got myself plucked out stuff, got myself ready for some mulching. So I got the mulcher down there. It's running next to the horses over there. The horses. Got the mulching done a lot quicker than I thought it would. I think it was like 20 minutes. I don't know why I was thinking about an hour or so. I did push a little bit more on the bank, but it started getting a little uneven for the skid steer, so I backed off, about slipped off in the pond. But I mean, that's just that much more cleaned up until we can come back and get on that lower side. That's what's really keeping this pond from looking good, but also just all that junk right there. It just makes me mad. I can't get in there to make it look good, but you know, I can't get down there without flipping the machine. I about fell off right in here because I came off on that lower side. This is high, so this is about a shin deep, about teetered off of it. But we got this to help it, because you can see down in there how wet it is, and it so it leaks off down in there and it leaks off over that way. He says when we had that rain in 2020, was it 22 and 23, the rain that we had for several days. But this is a lot better. I mean, he can spray it. I don't know if it spray it, if it'll get in there and the horses will drink it, or I'm not sure about that kind of stuff, so I'm learning as I go. So now we're gonna go back. We're gonna get the excavator. We're gonna head back over. I gotta dig him a overflow pipe trench for the pond over here on the other side. So we're gonna grab the excavator and run over there and start pushing that dirt. So then I'll have to get the bucket out and dig up a little bit. So we're doing pretty good timing. So that's what we'll do. Head back over there. So we're done over here, the best I can do as I can remember what he needs done. I really was trying to get over there, but it's just too mushy. See the pretty horses? They're pretty beefy. Get across this, which I took out a little bit more, which I think if he has me to come back to do the mulching, then I should be able to take the excavator or mulch it up in there. I'm not sure yet. Just because it's dipped in there, I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I'm trying to watch him. I don't know if they're sneaky. So I pulled this machine over here while running, and then they was over here in this corner. Well, I guess they was waiting for me to get out of the way, but I think they're going over where I did all that work. Check it out. This thing's a muddy nightmare. It's just that sludge. I can't get out of there. I was trying to back drag, but I couldn't. So fixing to come in here and, well, I don't need to do it close to the this, but I'll get back in there and move it. Got to fill this one up. This thing's used a pretty decent amount of fuel, I think, because I was digging. So we got all the mud pushed up. So now, I don't know if you can see or not, that corner right there is thinned out. So I've got some good dry on the other side. I put out, I was like, I think this is pretty dry. So now all I got to do is form everything, back drag it, smooth it up. Like all this right here is just freaking mud. It's a daggum nightmare. We got the cleats, you know, you can see where the tracks has been. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that and just drag it, and then I'm gonna bring my skid steer over here. I'm gonna rake all that stuff in there. I can't grab it, so that way it's smooth. good old soup here. It's starting to pack just a little bit, sticking to my boot, as in I have to be easy on it. So I'm gonna push this a little back a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and dump this. That way I can have 2 more of those scoops. Figured I'd do that and leave that open. That way he can dig it out, so that way they ain't already draining in there. Alright, I did more back dragging, clean that up. As you can see, that's about the best I'm gonna do. I did actually take out more of that, it just keeps falling off. And then I scrape this way and then scrape that way to kind of fill in this little dip right here. This is a lot lower, but that's where I'll need the water to go, at least go somewhere instead of all over the place, to like spider web off. So this is about the best it's going to get without having to go back in there and doing too much. So this is the finish, and then I showed you the other second pond over there too, so we'll go back over and look at it, and then I'm gonna dig this trench. So once it gets grass in here, it'll look really good. So we're gonna put an overflow. I'm not really sure how to dig, how deep to dig it, but I'm gonna put it pretty good ways down in, probably about a foot in, so that way if it gets too tall, it could drain itself out. I'm gonna put it in about right in here. So let's go ahead and dig it, and then we'll get everything ready to load up. All right, so here's the back, or the second pond. You can see, man, that's probably about a half a foot right there. It's so wet back here, so that's what I wasn't able to get. All the mulch and stuff is just the embankment's uneven. Couldn't get in there to really chew it up, and it was bogging the machine down. So got it dammed up. It's looking pretty good. It's calmed down. So, and then you can see the backside. It's probably gonna take it several months, probably almost a year, to probably completely dry out. So you can see pretty much what we done. We got as close as we could, ripped it up, pulled it up here, mulched it. I mean, it was pretty steep. Like when you're driving a machine and it starts sliding, you know that's pretty steep, and that's about right there where I got. But it starts smoothing up right here, and it gets a little steeper right in there. So And then there's the back side over there. You know, we had tree and a bunch of brush. So he said he's gonna get us back to clean this whole center side. So once we get this dried out, the back side dried out, we can get all that, and then we can get all this center right here, pretty much where all this stuff's right here. We can pull it out and you'll be able to see the other pond. You can just kind of see it barely in the trees. So once we get everything ripped up, cleaned up, mulched, then it'll look real nice. You can kind of see a shot through the trees and woods. So that's it. I mean, this is something, my first pond I've ever done as fixing and all that, but I've cleaned around ponds and creeks and stuff like that. So, but if you liked it, like and subscribe. See you on the next one. So this is the job we done in the pond, just kind of showing you what I'm dealing with. It's been raining since 4 this morning, and the pond's looking pretty good as long as nobody drives around it on it. So very wet.